I think today is not the day to do that, especially with our winter
hazards.
weather advisory. Yeah.
Right, and it's going to be slow for that morning drive. We'll talk to Rebecca in a moment and see where the slowdowns are. But because of the weather, we do have wet roads out there, and we do have, again, the snow that did fall in the overnight. You can see it on the sides of the roads there, those elevated surfaces. You know, elevated surfaces, these bridges and overpasses, you get that cold air underneath that surface, and that's why you get those slick spots. We'll talk about that tomorrow morning as well. Let's take a look at our current temperatures, because what's different this morning compared to what we'll see tomorrow morning will be this morning we have temps for the most part above freezing, above 32, especially if you head into these areas near Dry Ridge, Brooksville, south of the river there, where we're in the mid-30s. In fact, Florence, you're at 34. So the snow is already melting in those areas, and on top of that, we do have that mist and drizzle, so that's cutting down on the snowpack. Overall, we had about 1 to 3, I would say. We had a couple places at about 4 inches. You know, one of the higher reports I received was in Maustown there, but for us here, close to home, for everyone, I should say, we're dealing with the rain here for the rest of the day. Wet weather is still back off to the west, and we're not out of the woods yet, because this morning we did have a winter weather advisory posted until 7. That has been lifted, and now we have another one we're going to be concerned about heading into the overnight, starting tonight at about 11, taking you through about 10 a.m. tomorrow. For these counties in purple, it looks similar to what we were dealing with earlier this morning, but this one will be because of the refreeze and also some light accumulating snow. We're not going to see as much snow in your forecast tomorrow as we did this morning. And it's having a rough time sticking around, the snow that we will see, because you can see today rain in the forecast. 5 o'clock this evening, still watching out for rain, even some heavy downpours. That pink line just north of Connorsville there, that's where we're most likely going to see 32 degrees. By about 1 a.m. after midnight, that line slides to the south and east, and then we're going to see snow right off the bat. But the snow will have a rough time sticking around, given the fact we had a lot of rain today. That'll help warm up the ground above freezing temperatures, and then in the overnight, the first part of the snow will wash away, and then we may see a little bit of snow stick as that cold air rushes in behind the system. Models, this is the same one I was using over the weekend, so it did a nice job, I would say, with the 1 to 3. So I'm kind of trusting it that it'll do a nice job with this one as well. So Batesville, Westchester, maybe you're going to see about 1/2 inch, but mostly less amounts the farther south you go. Trace, I would say, up to just trace amounts, I would say, heading farther off to the south and east there. And temperatures are going to stay cold then for your Wednesday, highs only at about 32. Tomorrow morning, as a result, just to get you that information, is a first alert weather day. But then we're dry for the rest of the work week. Over the weekend, we have temps back in the mid-40s with not a bad forecast for us. It'll be seasonal, just cold the next couple days. Rebecca, let's check in with the morning drive right now. How's it looking?
We're going to go out to Catherine Bodak this morning. She's live for us as well in the same area where we are seeing so much tornado damage. You have been surveying this damage this morning, Catherine. I mean, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing around you. I know that one of the most shocking visuals you showed us here is it looks like the entire front of a house ripped off.
Yeah, you know, I will show you that. That is right behind me. The entire face of the house ripped off. We have cars that blew across the street. The winds were so strong that it actually either slid or lifted up this white truck, and it landed on top of these power lines. You can see a black power line going almost right below the grill there, and with that, a tree that's down as well. And that tree wasn't rooted here. That tree actually blew across the road as well. So however that was mangled and tangled together, you can see this is where it ended up. So that's one thing that's by me. Let's go over here. You can see another truck. Obviously that truck wasn't parked there. It's also marked. Those orange markings on it mean that some folks came out just to check it to make sure no one was stuck or trapped in there. So that's clear. And behind it, you know, Charisse, you mentioned the house, and I've been using this analogy. It looks like a dollhouse, but I mean, this is someone's home. You see their bathrooms, you see what used to be their living room, you see, you know, the wall completely gone, those porcelain tubs left behind, and that same marking there on the door, meaning that folks, they were here even before we got here this morning. I want to say we arrived here a little after 2, and those folks there already checked out that place to make sure there wasn't anybody inside. Now, we just had a car go past. If we have some time left, I wanted to show you guys this over here. here. Now this is the rubble that's left from what looks to be a little auto shop, and I noticed just kind of perusing it, it had a little open sign. If you guys know what this business was, we're going to talk to these folks too. I'm very curious what this was, because it was, it had some classic cars. Obviously you see this little yellow car there out in front. I mean, people have lost their belongings, for something like that. You've lost something old and I'm sure had value and personal belongings. These folks, I was talking to a couple people. I mean, there's so many people out here right now. Jason, he's a principal in the community. Again, we're just near Brookville High School there, and he's a principal at another school. His wife is an elementary school teacher. Community's already out here helping him. Poor guy. I mean, he just built his house a month ago. That house is actually, what you may be looking at is the back of it right there. That house is pretty much destroyed, I would say. It's so sad because it's a brand new place, but as far, Frank's been talking about it, and of course the Weather Service, they'll come out here and check out it too. But when we look at damage, we look at twisting when it comes to tornadoes. So the damage would be more kind of tossed around in every direction. Straight line wind damage would be all in one direction. But I think it's important to note, straight line wind damage can be just as strong as a low strength tornado. So even though we may be talking about straight line winds, I don't want you to think that that's any less powerful than, a tornado. They can be just as strong, but tornadoes, I certainly think, wiped out parts of this area, and the strength of it is what will be determined over the next couple days. This is quite the grim scene. I mean, it's pretty sad watching these folks come out and see this damage for the first time. We'll be right back.
Happening now. It's 11 degrees outside, so why not go skiing? Perfect North is preparing for skiers coming up very soon, so Catherine Bodak is live for us with more on what they're doing, and it looks beautiful. We're ready.
Look at you guys. I'm in a winter wonderland. They're making snow out here at Perfect North Slopes. If you look up, this snow is made from these snow guns. Of course, we've had temperatures that have been cold enough to make snow, and the folks here at Perfect North love it. It's been so far so good. And these snow guns, Alex, have been running all night, right?
Yeah, we're just at about almost 26 hours of continuous run time. It's just compressed air and water coming out of those guns to freeze midair and make these huge piles of snow.
So you still have a little ways to go. We at least had Mother Nature to help you out a little bit with the snow, the other day. But you guys will keep running these for as much time as you can, and it looks like hopefully you'll be able to open soon, right?
Yeah, that's our goal. We certainly love to see the snow falling the other day, get people excited about winter. And as long as conditions permit, we're going to continue to make snow and get closer and closer to an opening date.
And not only do they have, crews out here working, we have folks out here just making sure things work, things are prepped and ready to go for the folks. We have the lifts there running behind me, so they're getting ready for a great season. Fingers crossed the weather permits, and we're going to have some more fun here. It's really cool to see the snow out here, guys. Let's send it back to you.
Catherine, thank you.
Well, you have been busy here in the Weather Center because you are preparing for that wintry mix headed our way. And I know a lot of people are at home are going, what are we going to get?
See. Well, I wish it was just an easy answer for folks.
Yeah.
It's going to be an event that has a little bit of everything. So we will see some accumulating snow. Okay. We'll have some slick spots for tomorrow morning, and we'll also have the possibility of some icy conditions. So we'll break everything down because it will start this evening as a wintry mix. And this evening into the overnight, that's when we're expecting the brunt of the snow accumulation to be, and we will see about 1 to 3 inches. Then that snow changes over to rain tomorrow, comes to an end, and we'll see the return of some more wet weather tomorrow evening, and then we will have some slick roads possible Tuesday morning. As a result, first alert weather day here in the tri-state for tomorrow, even for your Tuesday morning. Tonight we start to bring in the snow chances, and farther to the north we're going to see higher amounts. So if you'll notice here in our northernmost counties, we are going to have about 2 to 3 inches expected for those folks. Closer to the river and toward the city, we have about 1 to 2 expected. Now along the river, not only do we have those totals tapering a bit, but also we have this pink line. That's the 32-degree freezing line where ice will be possible. So we have the snow, we have the ice, and also less than an inch possible south of the river. We have this forecast that's going to change over the next 24 to 48 hours from snow back to rain, then back mostly to a wintry mix again. It kicks off this evening at about 5 o'clock. o'clock, and as a result, a winter, I should say, weather advisory has been posted. It takes you through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, but we are still going to have rain chances tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and it's all part of this low pressure system that's moving across the country. So let's take a look at what you can expect right now because it's dry. You know, as we wrap up this weekend, you'll at least have the first half of the day with dry conditions. After 6 o'clock, that's when we'll start to see rain and snow move in. After 10, we'll certainly see the brunt of the accumulating snow taking shape. And again, we have that freezing line changing over to rain then late morning tomorrow and then eventually tapering off. Most of tomorrow afternoon will actually be dry. Tomorrow evening, we'll see the return of some rain, even some snow as temperatures fall. Rolling into Tuesday morning, that's when we could have some more slick spots out there. Overall, 1 to 3, and you can see the snow moving on in from the west, higher amounts to the north, and the big takeaway from the 7-day forecast outside of this event that's taking shape tonight into tomorrow, even for Tuesday morning, will be the fact that temperatures cool off and we're dry for the middle and end of next week. Let's send it back to you guys.
So many people devastated from this storm.
And this thing is still going. You know, now it's in Canada, so we're above, you know, the New England states there. There's Maine, but I mean, still 80-mile-per-hour sustaining winds.
And it's like, I mean, and the thing with the Bahamas is it stayed in that area for so long.
So long. And that was, I think, the worst part of it because that Category 5 storm, for days, it was just churning and just kind of grinding things out there. But those poor folks, we cannot forget about them because they'll be dealing with this for months.
And this is towards the beginning of the hurricane season, would you
say?
say?
Right. Certainly we'll be tracking, you know, some more chances, you know, of some development. Of course, we're keeping an eye on post-tropical Dorian. Let me show you right now, though, close to home, we've been fortunate here to have, I would say, somewhat of a nice weekend. I know it was a little bit cooler yesterday, but we've been dry overall. We've seen some sunshine. You'll most likely have a little bit more sunshine in your forecast today with a few chances for rain later on in the day. That'll be as the cloud cover builds and our next disturbance starts to bring in those chances. We're not going to see anything widespread, but next week it's going to get downright hot and humid. We'll talk about temperatures that will soar into the low 90s, heat indices, and that's the way the air will feel. We'll be in the mid 90s there. It's going to be muggy. Could see a couple showers and thunderstorms. At the moment, we're looking dry, and we do have, again, those temperatures that are going to eventually climb today to about 80. High pressures in control here for us. That's giving us the sunshine this morning, but those clouds are thickening up. And back off to the west, our next weather maker will bring us some chances for rain, but as it moves closer to our region and with high pressure still there at the surface, it's going to erode away that cloud deck a bit and also those rain chances. And you can see the rain diminishing as it moves closer to the tri-state. However, this warm front's going to lift northward, and that will boost those temperatures up the next couple days. We will have daytime highs well above average, in fact, by about 10 degrees heading into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. By noon this afternoon, we have temps that are going to be in the mid-70s. You can see these rain chances trying to build on in. We certainly have the cloud cover associated with that disturbance, and by dinner time, you can see that rain could be in the forecast. It's not really showing much, but I wouldn't rule it out. Just a few of these little green dots here popping up here and there. By midnight, we are looking dry for the most part, even clearing farther off to the west. And those temperatures in those areas where those skies do clear out will bottom out into the 50s. But a lot of us tonight dropping into the 60s. Then we're warming up in a big way. Check out that orange-yellow color palette indicating daytime highs are going to soar well into the 80s, if not the low 90s, heading into the middle of this week. So by Wednesday, we have that chance of rain in the forecast. Those heat indices, the way the air feels for everyone, will be in the mid-90s. Feeling more like midsummer, then we'll start to cool off Friday into Saturday, even though temperatures will still be trending about, I would want to say about 5 degrees above average. Let's send it back to you, Amber.